Howdy.
Howdy doody. Howdy doody there.
That's my Texas impression.
You live in Texas.
I know. Been working on
So
it.
isn't your Texas impression just your regular voice?
Yeah, but I thought since I live here, I might as well start. Howdy. No thanks necessary.
Why do certain places have different accents? What is it about where you live that changes your voice?
I watched something on it one time. It was something about. I'm not, honestly, don't quote me on any of this. I barely remember the video. I just remember watching a video, and it was something about the draw in our voice. Some people's are slower, some are faster.
What does it have to do with like your location?
That I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, do you have like a southern draw? You know what I mean? Like that. Hi there. Like I can't do it because I'm monotone as fuck.
Howdy doody.
You know what I mean? Is like they have like a southern drawl. You ever met like a girl that's like from Tennessee, just has like a super like cute voice? Even if she's not that cute, she might have like a super cute voice. It sounds like homely. Southern drawl.
Is it homely because you live in Texas? I'm sure it's not homely if you live in.
I said Tennessee.
Oh well, it's homely maybe because you're used to that. I don't doubt it's homely if you live in New York.
I don't mean that way. I don't mean homely like that. I mean homely like.
Yeah, you feel comfortable when you're like,
yes.
That's. Yes. Come in here, honey. I got a nice apple pie
that's
for
a good
you.
way to put it. Yeah.
I baked you some cookies in the oven.
And then you have like different accents as far as like Boston and New York and Chicago and like different places like that. People talk in certain ways.
I'm walking here.
But I don't know.
I don't have the answer to that.
It's a good. I'm gonna look that up later.
Left open for everybody else if you have an answer, because I don't have the answer to that one.
I wonder if it has to do with the weather.
The weather is what makes people talk differently. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Potentially.
I don't.
Because I mean,
say no.
There's what's different between? I guess okay. So like, there's only. I'm thinking about it like location wise. Thing about it is like there's only so many things it could be if location is in contact with how people talk, then it has to do with like what's different between this location and that location. Maybe the altitude and the weather. What else? Like moisture, like how close are you to water? Like because people are relatively the same everywhere you go. I mean, relatively, it's just like about how they raised.
Cultures are different. Yeah.
Right.
So I get it could be weather. So, but some people could grow up here and have a completely different accent.
What do you mean?
I said they might not have a southern accent.
But you can also pick up an accent whenever you go somewhere else.
That's also true.
But is that because you're changing your climate? You know what I mean? Like that you're used to, and you're kind of stepping into this one that kind of has something to do with your way you talk or the way you express yourself.
Never thought of it that way. I mean, it could be. Once again, I personally don't have the answers to any of that.
I don't either.
So I can't say no. It sounds like it might be a hard no.
But
it's very possible.
Scientifically, it's a stretch, but logically, it kind of makes sense in my head.
I'll leave that to everyone else. If y'all want to look that up and maybe figure that out.
I'm also stupid, so I don't know. I mean, not stupid, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm not well versed in the climate.
Or voices or accents or anything. I'm not well versed in any of this knowledge that we're speaking on right now, but I am a little interested in the theory that I created.
Just now, right on the spot. Wow, what a hero.
We'll kind of dive into that later on.
I
mean, like I'll dive into that.
I don't know if I'll dive into that
and
one.
Think that theory out a little bit more, maybe do some research. But anyways.
Said Josh. This past weekend, I went to see Tame Impala. It's pretty great. I mean, I showed you a couple videos, but what really stuck out to me the most, I didn't really talk about this as much. Kind of saved it for this moment here. Okay, this special moment with you.
Such a special moment.
It's such a special moment.
You're special.
Thank you, and it really means a lot. So, basically, one of the things that stuck out to me the most was I love Tame Impala. The show itself was spectacular. amazing 10 out of 10, best performance I've ever seen. And I've seen quite a few shows to this point. Man's a genius. It was wonderful. But besides that, just wanted to give him his praise real quick.
Oh my god.
Besides all that being said, was the fact that you look at some places and some people are just standing there, which is cool. I understand you do whatever you want to do, but then you look at other places. Being that one person next to me who I had actually met there, which I've met a couple times, but I don't really know him that well. They were getting down, man. They were just, getting low, and it wasn't good dancing per se. I mean, I'm not.
What is good dancing?
Exactly and that's what I was.
Dancing is just like a form of expression.
I was really thinking about that hard too while I was there. Funny you say that, because I was sitting there and thinking that we talk and we express ourselves through talking.
Yeah.
And through music, people express themselves, but it's through these movements that you do. You're expressing yourself through all these weird things. Someone can look at you. It's like, why is that good dancing? You're looking at someone just.
Because it's like,
you feel that,
it's not like, because I feel like there's a difference between choreography and dancing, in my opinion. Like, I don't know the science or the dictionary definition, but in my opinion, I think dancing is just enjoying yourself and expressing yourself freely and having fun, enjoying the music or the day, whenever you're dancing. Just enjoying that moment type shit, having as much fun as you can. But choreography is different. That's like whenever you actually want something to look like actually well thought out.
I'm sure people enjoy that too.
It's another form of art, in my opinion, choreography.
It is.
So I feel both sides of the spectrum.
It's just crazy to me. You feel a certain type of way by the way someone's moving their body. You sit there and really just be awestruck and say, wow, that's beautiful. Or to the music. And I was sitting there, and there was a little, I wouldn't really say after party. That's what they called it, but that's not really what it was. It was this little bar area right next door, walking distance. Kind of got lost when I came out of the venue. I didn't know where I was.
Did Mr. Parker join the crowd?
He didn't.
That'd have been lit if
if he went next door. Nah, but there was another DJ that was performing, or two other DJs that were performing at that bar. So it's kind of, vibes were on point. It was great. But you go next door, they're performing. You had people standing around talking, and then there was a little dance floor area, and then you have people just kind of doing all these little weird dances. It wasn't just normal dancing. You kind of sitting there. It's silly, but I loved it. I just thought that was amazing, and how
same. See, I personally, I don't know, like I am not one to normally let loose and like go out on a dance floor and just make a fool out of myself, but I do personally enjoy when other people do that because it's silly as fuck, and honestly it makes me smile every time, not because I'm like laughing at them, but laughing and smiling because I'm happy that they feel so free in that moment and feel like they can express themselves however they want type shit. Like, I don't even have to know them, but I know I'm not finna do that just personally because I gotta like get a couple drinks in me or just really like be feeling the song at the time to actually let loose like that personally. But
that's what I'm saying.
Whenever I can appreciate other people do. Awesome.
Like when I see people dance or just let loose, and that's another thing. What I was thinking is, so for some people it's hard to just let loose like that, or just get in that groove of being lucid and just being free. Because in that moment you are free. You're not worried about what everyone else is thinking. You're not worried about what everyone else is doing. You're worried about how you feel, how the music makes you feel, or how sometimes when you're happy you do a little happy dance when you're happy, and it's kind of awesome how that is. And whenever I was watching them, it kind of made me want to be it made me want to be myself even more. Seeing people be themselves kind of makes it easier for me to allow myself to be myself.
Yeah, I feel that.
And it made me think about,
it's kind of like leading by example.
Exactly. And it made me think about how I try to approach my life every day, which isn't always true, because sometimes you think to yourself, maybe I shouldn't do that, or that'd be silly to do that. But I tried my best to be as vulnerable for that reason. As you go out every day, okay, I'm silly, which some people sometimes, because I am silly and goofy, think I'm stupid. It happens.
That's fine.
It is. But I'd rather be silly and goofy because I feel like that allows other people to express themselves how they feel free.
Personally,
to express themselves.
I have come to not so whenever I say that I don't give a fuck about how people feel about me, I say that not from a point of view as in like those people don't matter, so their opinions don't matter. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I'm comfortable enough in my skin to understand that I have the power to do whatever I want with my expression of my emotions and thoughts and how I perceive life. I should be able to do whatever I want as far as like as long as I'm not hurting anybody or doing anything to stop progression of somebody else, I should be able to essentially do anything that I feel comfortable doing. Therefore, if somebody doesn't take comfort in something that I'm doing, it's not my responsibility to make them feel comfortable. I'd rather them not like me personally. Because I like it's kind of a slippery slope at that point. If I'm worried about how every single person feels about me, every single thing that I need to change or improve or whatever it is that you have that makes discomfort in your life from your perception of me, it's like that's cool. I'd rather you not fuck with me than you want me to be different so you can fuck with me. Type shit. I don't know what I'm saying.
But do you think that sometimes without you realizing it, you do things because of how other people will view you?
Like what?
In a sense, I always think of it, you people, you like to dress nice, right? Or you just, sometimes that is for yourself because you want to feel dressed nice. But in a sense, isn't that because of how other people will view you?
Not necessarily. It's how you view yourself. I mean, at least for me, I don't know. It's like I'm not gonna say never am I trying to dress up for the to look appealing for other people because I'm a single man. So obviously, sometimes I am trying to get chose type shit. But what I'm saying is that it's not gonna. Here's what I'm trying to say is like I may or may not dress up for other people to see, but I'm not gonna be hurt if they don't like what they see. See what I'm saying? Like it's more of like I'm talking about more of the reaction than the premise. Like it's like maybe you might have a point saying that dressing nice could be doing that for somebody else, but at the same time it's like I'm only doing that for somebody else if I care about how they feel about it. You know what I mean? I'm doing it for myself so that I look good. Okay, so just in this instance, like I would want to look good for myself so that I am a available option for these people. That doesn't make me a required option. If they don't want that option to be available, it's nothing on them. It's nothing on me. It's not. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go home and never dress nice again, or get hurt and be like, "Damn, this fit isn't it." No, I'm gonna just be like, "Bro, I still look good." Like, what's good? Like, I'm still gonna have a good day.
So you look good to yourself, and you want to make sure that you look good in your personal, view
First,
Yeah.
before I care about anybody else.
Okay, well, that's a good way. I always think about that because I ask people that all the time, and no one really has a good answer. It's like no, which in my opinion, most of the time you could say no, but at some point you're trying to appeal to somebody.
Right.
Not all the time, but
It's kind of like the age old thing of like girls only wear makeup to look good for guys. It's like, and then girls will be like, "Nah, we do it to look good for ourselves." I mean, so both of those sides are missing the whole like middle portions. Like, there's gonna be people that only do wear makeup to get a guy's attention or whatever, but there's also just as many people that wear it because they actually take a hobby or take maybe even a passion in makeup, and that's actually something they love doing. It's actually just trying out new makeups, seeing if like what else they can do type shit, what other combos they can make. You know what I mean? So like you can't say that those people don't exist just because there's other people that only put on makeup and cake that shit up just for somebody, just for the appealing like lifestyle to look good for somebody. Not fair.
it's not. And when it comes to situations such as these, when we put these things in the perspective, what do you think it is that makes people? What makes someone free? What makes it when you do these things? When people do these makeup, when you dress up, when you're dancing, what is it that makes us feel free? What allows us to be free in a sense? Because sometimes, when it comes to, we talk a lot about expressing ourselves,
Right.
and to me, it's people love to express themselves because it makes you feel free almost. When you say how you feel, when you do things that make you feel a certain way, it almost gives you this sense of freedom.
Right.
This sense of, I feel free and alive because you're doing what you truly want in that moment, regardless of what someone else has to say or
Well,
regardless of what someone else has to feel. You're doing it because you want to. But why do you think that is?
to answer your first question, what do you think? Ourself more than anything, because I mean, the only things that keep us like locked places where we can't do what we want to do or stuck doing actually don't like doing is ourself kind of taking it upon ourselves to have like a loose mentality and say is like, this is something I want to do, but I have to do all these things to get there. I don't have time to do any of that because I have to pay bills or I have kids or this or that. It's like people give themselves a million reasons not to do something before they do it. And sometimes all it takes is just to start. And that sometimes. So kind of like what makes you free is yourself whenever you kind of bring an understanding to yourself to say, hey, I understand there's a million things that will tell you not to do this right now. But if this is something you really want to do it, then you figure out how to check a million boxes and then you can do what you want to do. And it's like you actually have to necessarily free yourself. And that's hard to do in some situations. Some people's situations. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is inevitably your responsibility, love and passionate about, and then follow those avenues, continue keeping it pushing.
So after the concert, that after everything, finally went home, of course, and one of the people I went with, I ended up having a conversation with him, and it really made me think because I'm not gonna put all of it out there, of course, but just the premise of it, something that I thought was really important, really touched me, hit me was they started telling me, all the stuff that they want to do. And I'm not, don't get me wrong, I love doing this, doing these podcasts because it's something I really believe in. It's something that I feel is really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love talking to people. One of the biggest things for me is wanting people to be themselves. And it's not saying I'm allowing you to be yourself, like I'm giving you permission, but I want to allow people to be themselves.
Like you want to create an opportunity
to be themselves. I want to give them a place to where they want to be themselves. And when they were talking to me, they were saying, I really love what you're doing, and I may not really listen to your stuff that much, but there's so much stuff I want to do, and I've just talked myself out of doing it over and over again, and I just need to take the steps because even if they were telling me, even if you aren't huge yet or you're not where you want to be, you're making those steps every day and you're making progress, and you could tell you love what you do. And they were saying, I love what you had to say as well. And in my head I was thinking sometimes it is just that first step,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard for people to get to that first step of just doing little things here and there. And I was trying to tell him, man, I don't even didn't know what I was doing. At a certain point I had anxiety, I was overthinking everything. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. It just took, hey, let me start small and just come up with an idea of what I want. Boom. Next thing, what is something I can do to start making that idea real? And then what can I do next to start making that idea real? Don't think of everything at once, because that's how you end up that's a slippery slope, because then you're going to think about this. Oh, but I need this, but I don't have this. What do you have? And what are the very basic essentials that you need to start, and just do that.
Right. And it's also the understanding that it can't have can't work as far as like working towards something that you have a passion for. You can't think about it as I worked this many hours, so I should have this much compensation as far as money or just like things happening for that to like kind of happen. You have to think about it as like, this is going to be something that I really, and if this is going to be something that's worth having or worth doing, it's not going to be take time. You can't think about how you can't put your work ethic towards results. You can't base your work ethic off of results. You have to base your work ethic off passion and coming from, and that's how you're going to get more. Like that's how you're going to find yourself being more free with your passion and your idea or whatever you're trying to do. because you'll be able to actually sit down and understand this. Like, I know that things aren't where they're at right now, but if I continue to work as hard as I'm working now, or even harder potentially, if I can even push myself past this brink that I've stopped at, then maybe this will be something. When you don't have to necessarily, like, you should believe in yourself, but don't like keep your things conditional. Like, as far as like, get in what you get out. I mean,
You get out what
you
you give
get
in.
out what you put in. That's what. So like basically what I'm saying is, like, you think that things are just gonna happen for you. They're not. You have to go. Not so common for get what they want. Only people that get what they want and it. That it's not, when I say demand, I don't say like, you get me this now. I mean, like, you get me this now. You know what I mean? Like, talking to yourself,
Yeah.
like, get me this now. Like, do whatever it takes. Do it now. I don't care what you have going on. I don't care what your situation is. Figure it out. That's what it takes for you to put yourself a little.
Yeah, really put things into perspective, because I was thinking about just, I mean, how far I've come from when I started this. It wasn't even started
It was a
originally with
whole different,
different
yeah.
podcast. It's just what it's turned
Not even
into.
just podcasts. It was different before that too. Like the whole big trees.
Yeah, the ideas formed into something. Exactly.
It's a gotta think about it like this. Like, if you got everything you wanted right now, you
Get it.
already have everything you want. It's like, what do I do now? And so you have to think about it from a progression standpoint. It's like, if I progress completely to my full potential, like, after that, all I can do, like, for the entirety of my life, is never progress again. Which is good to an extent, but take a poll on retired people. I guarantee not 100% of those people are thrilled to never have to work a day in their
Most
life.
of them find little things to do.
Most people find work.
Projects, yeah, or work to do.
Yeah. Like, it's like, I can't handle being retired. I've lived too long on this earth. I can't do this. I have to do something type shit. So I will go back and be a teacher. You know what I mean?
Whatever,
like,
yeah.
Whatever it is. That's my point. You have to think about it. It's like, I'm going to get better. I'm going to be anything that stops me from getting better, but I'll also be the only.
Strangely enough, right now, this is the most free I've felt in a while. I'm not saying I have everything I want, and I've reached every goal I've ever wanted to reach. I mean, that's not, in my opinion, that's not what life's about. It's about living now,
Right.
doing what you want now. And I can honestly say, for right now, for what it's worth, my job pays me decent. I have extra time. I'm not working 40 plus hours a week. I'm working 30. I'm not making buku's amount of money. I'm making enough for me, myself,
Right.
as of right now.
You don't have any kids or dogs or anything right now. So,
Exactly.
I mean, that's my head, you're good. You should be able to do that.
And every week we come here, spend 3 days out of the week planning, recording,
Working,
making sure we're posting when we need to and putting in the work. And I love that. I really do love
everything except
social media sucks kind of,
I don't like it.
That.
But we'll figure it out. We'll get this shit together. Maybe one day we'll if you guys keep listening, we might blow up so we can hire somebody to do that for us, cuz fuck that shit. I hate social media. Not that I hate social media, it's just I don't like notifications, because I feel like it's just like a lot of bullshit.
Clutter. It looks like clutter.
It's just a lot of bullshit. Most of the notifications I get is just like, it's not even all, because like the thing I hate about like Twitter notifications is like, sometimes you'll get something that's like, so and so tweeted this, or so and so like this, and I'm like, I don't even follow that person or the person who retweeted or like that. Why am I getting this notification? What the fuck? Or it'll be like, 3 of your followers just followed this person. I'm just like, who the fuck cares? That has nothing to do with me. Get the fuck out of here, brother.
Personally, I could care less about likes and retweets. I'm more so like in the position, someone just replied, I want to have a conversation. Do you like things that I like?
I like
if we
feedback.
just do you like the same things that I like? Can we have a conversation? We can maybe get together and go do something that we like.
See, but I do get feedback just from like other avenues. Like, as far as like, I get feedback like calls and texts.
Yeah, people will usually message me personally and tell me things.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is like, so.
But likes and retweets for me, It's oh wow, you liked my
Like, see, that's
post.
what I'm saying. It's
Are you
like
gonna talk to me?
in this like market or whatever it is, it's like that shit's like necessary, kinda. Like as
Yeah,
far
people are
as
like,
like
oh wow, a lot of people. I don't want to read.
it's supposed to be necessary. I personally think the content matters more. Like I would rather like be as much of myself as I can than worry about likes and change myself if I'm more marketable or whatever it is. If I'm not marketable enough for you guys, like, hey, I'm still
That's what it should be about. It shouldn't be change your
okay.
image to market yourself.
Right.
I'm gonna market myself because I am my image.
Like, I don't know. I know enough people that accept me for who I am for me to not give a fuck about people not accepting me personally, which I'm appreciative of.
I don't. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. But when it comes to looking at, it's not for everybody, of course. You know, when we're talking about these things and
It's for everyone.
things like that take time as well.
Rated E for everyone.
When it comes to being free, personally, I think our egos are a big part of it as well. You know, you get in the way of yourself. We talk about that all the time, is us getting in the way of yourself. And whether that's pride because you don't want to let someone else, you know, feel like they got the better of you, you don't want to admit that you're wrong,
Or just not even just the better of you, have like pride in your country. I mean, in a certain sense.
you should have pride in certain things. You know, you
Right.
should be proud that this is something I really love to do. I should be proud, and you should stand by that. I'm not
But it's
saying
just
that.
the execution of people's having pride in things. I feel like it's like the way that people execute. No, like you can't talk about that because I have pride in it. First of all, I can talk about whatever I want. Secondly, sorry if I offended you, but I'm gonna continue the sentence. Like I didn't mean to offend you, but I'm not just gonna allow you to censor me because it goes against. You know what I mean?
That's why the internet's a big. That's why a lot of
Right.
arguments come out on the internet these days because
And
everyone
so
wants to
like,
censor everybody, but
but
that's
like
not how the
for
world works.
example, is like I don't think I think you should have pride in your country because this is a great country. It allows me to talk to you right now and say whatever the fuck I want to say. And yeah, that's because we live in this country. There's other reasons and other bad reasons and all that shit, but basically it's like I'm appreciative and I have pride in the country that I live in. But I'm not gonna be the person that's on the streets holding signs saying "Go America" when I also know some shitty things that America has done. Like that's just not who I am.
Pride's important in a lot of things, but people do take being prideful. You gotta at some point admit, just take a step back and say it's okay to not be right. It's okay to have your opinion, and for other people to have their opinion.
Or it's like, because like I think whenever people hear it's okay to not be right, they immediately link their head to say, "Oh, that means that you're saying that I'm wrong, and I'm not wrong. You're wrong," and keep the argument going. It's like, sir, first of all, you're stupid for thinking that. Secondly, what I was trying to say is that even if you want to say that I'm not right, thank you for saying that. I appreciate your opinion. I'm going to continue on with mine if you don't mind. Because you can say I'm wrong all you want, but that doesn't mean that I care about what you have to say. Personally, I don't know. It's
People
like
do get
I
people
don't
get
know how
strung
you
out over that stuff.
I don't know how you feel, but I will unless put it this way. I know when I'm wrong because I know whenever I'm talking out my ass. Personally, it's like if I know that I'm speaking out bullshit, then I'm not gonna defend myself to the death and fucking try to fight you over some bullshit of calling me out or proving me wrong. I'd be like, damn, you got me. All right, that's you right. I didn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, and that's cool. Like that's acceptable. But somebody to be like, how dare you say that about what I just said? Like, how dare you feel that way about how I feel? How dare you care about my feelings so much?
To a degree, yeah. Something that always gets me is, okay, stand by your beliefs, right?
Right.
But when it comes to your ego, this is something that I think has helped me a lot overcome stuff. Because I mean, I used to be when I was younger, I was hard headed. You know, I mean, occasionally, maybe times now, but definitely not anywhere near from when I was 11, 12.
Yeah.
So you're still growing up. You want to stand by how you. No, I'm right. Now it's okay. Even if you are right, well,
Yeah.
unless I'm learning something that's really, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're right. Do you want a cookie? Maybe You're not gonna get one. You'll barely get a high five.
My favorite was whenever somebody's actually right and take it upon themselves and be like, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, you were wrong. Yeah, and just gets like real snippy with you, and I'm just like, so like that I'm still capable of slapping the shit out of you,
Have
right?
you ever?
Like,
Have you ever been? You're right. Yeah, I am right. Yeah. Oh, am I right? And what do you want from me now?
Like,
What do you want now?
like I can say it again
What do
in
you
a
want?
different language if you'd like.
You're right. I don't want to have this conversation with you, and you're still wanting to carry this on. What did you really want from this conversation at this point? Have you ever been in a situation?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Why?
I don't know.
But with our egos, we attach so much that we have to. Oh man, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, everybody. But
You said with our egos we attach what?
We attach a certain part of who we are to our ego, and we think that's who we are. We have to. I'm the kind person I always care. I can't let these people down, or I'm the person that always has to be there for somebody, or I'm a stern.
I'm Taco Dave. I bring tacos on Tuesdays.
Yeah, I'm a stern. I'm a stern person, and there's this point of if we aren't these people, we lose sense of who we are because we can't attach to things that we think we are, and we don't just allow ourselves to be.
That's kind of how people can get in relationships, right? Like get so attached to another person that whenever that relationship ends, you lose track of who you are. You don't know where your like path is now. You don't know who you are anymore.
Your part to play was
right.
that person's someone,
or that person, right? Or you were that person's someone. That person was your someone. So now without that person, it seems like things are off track. I see. That's just one example, but so you're saying is like as far as ego, you're saying we do that to ourselves.
Yeah, I'm saying we restrict ourselves from freedom a lot of the time is because we let our egos get in the way. And loss of ego for some people is dangerous. It's great if you really look it up. For some people, it's a really good, refreshing. It's a spiritual awakening because you're losing the sense of self that you've once thought you were, and then it allows you to build this person of just being who you are freely because you're not so worried about who you are rather than just being you because you're not anybody but who you are now. You know what I mean?
But in what way is that scary or dangerous?
Because some people, who am I? If I'm not this, then what am I? They start getting this feeling of if I'm not. Because
if you ever find out that you're not this, why are you asking? Why don't you ask how do you feel you are?
By being yourself. Do things that you like to do.
Well, right. No, what I'm saying is you're going about your questioning wrong if you're saying, who am I? Whenever you find out that you're not you, you should be figuring out, how do I figure out who I am? Not who am I? Who are you asking? Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're kind of putting yourself into a hole at that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like the only way that losing your ego would be scary is to freak out on I don't know what I'm gonna do. But that's the point. It's like when you lose your ego, you have ample opportunity everything you want to do. Create your own, like basically who you are, but your own person. Want to be who you should be.
Well, when we talked about it last week when I was talking about whenever I lost a really close friend, and then I was trying to figure out whenever I kind of found all of you and became friends with all of you, not really realizing where I fit in. I kind of was sitting there, why don't I fit in with certain groups, or why don't, where do I fit in? And you don't need to fit in anywhere, but that was my ego talking, thinking like trying to attach myself to something in order to feel like I was someone.
Right.
But I am somebody regardless. And that's that's the thing. Whenever for some people, this happens also. If you ever, some people who take a lot of drugs or like psychedelics wise, they'll lose that sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, that's just too much because then at this point you were so used to being this person. It's just take for example someone who was married for a long time. They were a mom forever, and now they're not a mom anymore. What are they now? Sometimes they're like,
They're not.
what's my place in life?
Wait, they're not a mom anymore. Their child died.
Let's say, yeah, let's say that happens. Like, I'm not a mom
Okay.
anymore.
So
Or let's say not even just like their child died. Their child moved out. They're still a mom, but they're not taking care of their kid.
okay, so you're
what's
saying
my
it's
role
like,
now? What do I play?
like post like kid moving on doing their own thing, not like necessarily post kid dying.
It could be either way, I guess.
Oh,
You took it to the extreme.
That's two separate situations.
You took it extreme, yeah.
You're asking a question that's two separate answers.
You're right. Okay, that's fair. All right,
Okay.
but yeah, let's go more lighthearted. They moved out of the house.
Okay, so your kid goes to college. Like, you try to figure out like what do you do with your everyday life. You're talking about like a housewife that doesn't have a job.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go there. Yeah,
Okay.
it's perfect.
So the answer is I mean, the easy answer is whatever the fuck you want. But that's the hard thing. It's like saying, what do you want to eat today? I could eat anything, honestly. I like so many things, so many options, so many things that I could consume today, and I would be satisfied regardless of the outcome.
Or it's
But I got to decide because I need to eat. Like, I don't know what I'm going to eat. I got to figure this shit out. So basically,
I was gonna say more so. I was going along the lines of if she's a mom and she's been mothering these children, they move out and now she's feels like her life has no meaning.
see, but that's what I'm saying is you create meaning personally, and anything you do, you upon your like. You ever heard the saying? It's like whenever like you never heard your mom say like whenever she dropped you off at school, like, well, it sucks, and you never heard her say, "This is what you make it,"
Yeah.
or everything is as good as you make it. Like that's what it's the same thing. It's like you have as much purpose as you give yourself. Want to tell yourself I'm purposeless, I have no meaning to live anymore because I've already mothered these children and they already left and they're doing their own thing and I don't have a job or hobbies or anything like that. So what the fuck do I do? The answer is start doing shit. Find out if you like it.
Just start doing shit.
Start doing shit. Find out if you like it. If you start fucking gardening, if you don't like that, start yoga. Start fucking going to like a art class. Figure some fucking shit out for yourself. It's not difficult to take it upon yourself and say, "Hey, I have all of this free time now that I could do with whatever I want. Now let's go do something with that." It's real easy to say, "Hey, I have all this free time now and I can do whatever I want." But I'm going to do nothing because I don't know what I want to do. Like, apparently it's really easy for people to do that. Like, for themselves. Because they do it a lot. It makes no sense. It's like the thing about saying, like, when we talked about how automation is supposed to take millions of jobs or whatever. Not automation. It's supposed to take millions of jobs, and it's like, bruh, yes, please take these fucking jobs away from these people that are doing them so they can create a better, happier life for themselves in some other way. At first, it might be difficult to figure out what that avenue is and figure out the finances, but at the end of the day, these people will actually get to do what they love to do, which, my opinion, I'm speaking from a point of view without kids, personally, my opinion, that trumps living a life doing a job that pays you just enough. You know what I mean? Like, that's one way of living, but are you really living at that point? Who are you living for? Like, that's why I practicing safe sex until I find somebody or lock in some marriage or some shit. I can trust that I'm building like a good family and like raising a child in a good household, because I am not trying to raise, like, I gotta trying to figure who's this dude you bring in child's life and shit like that. Like, I don't want none of that extra shit. I'm definitely practicing. I can figure all of those out. I'm not trying to bring a child into have other fucked up shit I gotta deal
Adds,
with.
it's like, look, you might die because the planet's going to shit. But on top of that, I know that's rough. But listen, you have to deal with all this other shit too. Sorry.
Yeah, and like on top of that, that's like saying it's like you might die because the planet's going to shit, but guess what? You also might die because we invented cars and guns. So hey, good luck out there, buddy.
Great.
It's like the world's gonna throw you enough problems. Why are you creating more for yourself?
Hey, Hannah Montana said it best though.
What did Hannah Montana say?
Life's what you make it. So let's make it rock.
Oh fuck!
She said that.
I know she said that. I
Life's
don't know
what
why
you-
you just said that.
Life's what you make
But I
it.
know that she said that.
Life's what you make it.
Yeah, it is.
So let's make it rock.
Okay. Life's what you make.
Let's make it rock. You
Oh
know,
my god.
it's a banger, bro. You get the best of both worlds
Oh my god.
And
Here
all
we
that.
go.
and all that jazz.
It's not quite jazz. Pop. Kids pop.
Kids Pop album 27.
Oh my god. That's Kids Bop.
It's all the same. It's all the same, man. I'm not worried about
You
it.
said album 27.
Having a sense of self, man, is I don't want to say important because you don't want to attach to things. Because when you allow yourself to be not worried about other things, take care of your because if you're really taking care of your business and doing what you want to do, and really, don't get me wrong, not everyone's gonna have the same privilege that I may have necessarily been born with. I mean, I wasn't born with a lot, but I was born with enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To give me a foundation to kind of work with what I got, you know? But if you really sit there and think, what do I want? And you put your goals out to make that happen, nothing. There's people that have come from absolutely nothing.
Made it to everything, yeah.
Made it to everything.
Right.
So for someone with, you know, don't get me wrong, everyone has their problems. And I'm someone who always says that, you know, we don't be careful with what you say to some people because you don't ever know what someone's going through.
Right.
But at the same time, you can take the initiative to make steps to make things happen in your life. And when you put this weight on your shoulders of saying, this has got to be me, no, just do what you want in that moment. Take the steps you want in that moment. Don't ever put that weight on your shoulders saying, this is who I am.
Right.
Because who you are is going to be what you are, regardless. You're going to be who you are with what you do every day.
Right.
That encompasses who you are.
That kind of like goes into what I was saying earlier. I'm not worried about how people feel about how I look because I know taking care of myself, my hygiene. I want to feel good about how I look when. So if I'm if I'm checking all the boxes to talk about what these people feel, because I know I'm taking care of myself. Have an opinion about they don't like my shoes. Ooh, buy my shoes. I'm not asking for them I'm not giving them a receipt for them and saying, hey, pay up. They don't have to pay for these shoes. They don't have to do nothing but look at them for a few seconds. Fuck about what you feel. Sorry. I don't like my shoes for these few seconds that you walking by me. You had to comment on that, bud? Like, you know what I mean?
You care like, that much?
You care more about my shoes than I care about your opinion. That's sad.
That really is super sad. One of my favorite quotes is, what you do doesn't define who you are. Who you are defines what you do.
That's good. My brother has something similar tattooed on. I am not what has happened to me. I am what I choose to become.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's not, you know, all the things you do aren't who you are. And you aren't necessarily all the things that you do. Or no, all the things that you do make up who you are maybe, but they're not who you are.
Right.
It doesn't define who I am. I like to dance. Doesn't mean I'm a dancer. You know what I mean? Per se. I mean, no, in that moment I am a dancer.
I drive to work, but I'm not a driver as truck driver or anything like that.
Exactly.
I'm not a professional driver. I don't qualify for NASCAR or anything. I drive every day of my entire life. You know what I mean? Take action that profession or a passion or anything like
I'm a
that's not who I am or
like
what I am. Or
exactly. I'm a cook. It doesn't mean I'm a chef. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's just because I do things doesn't make me that's who I am. But me in the essence of doing all these things, that kind of makes up who I am. Which is why I was saying earlier is when you are dancing or in the moment or when you're drawing, when you're writing, in essence, these things make you feel free because they're what you really want to do in that moment,
right.
and you're not worried about when it comes to art. That's why I love it so much is because most things people now have made it into where you're trying to make money and all this stuff off of it, but for people who just do it because that's what they want to do, you're not worried about all this other stuff. You're not worried about it. Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what people think of you or what people think of it. You're doing it because that's what you want to do and that's how you feel in that moment. And nothing else matters. It's how you're expressing yourself.
Right.
And nothing else at that moment matters other than what you're doing. And I think that's why people are so free, because when you're really expressing yourself through this form of art or form of creation, you're not your ego's not a part of that. You're not gonna necessarily, when you're painting, you might be angry or whatever, and that's how you feel, but you're not gonna sit here and be like, you know what, I'm this person, that's why I'm drawing this. It's just like,
I mean, I would
most
say
of the
you're
time.
not, your ego's not consciously a part of art. I'm sure it's definitely subconsciously a part of art for sure. Like it might not be, you might not be consciously thinking that I'm painting this or I'm making this song because this is how I feel. How you feel has entirely to do with what you're
Yeah, but your
creating.
ego's not just necessarily how you feel. Your
Or
ego,
what I'm saying is like like or your ego, whatever you're trying to say. Like that may not, you may not directly be saying to yourself that this is what I'm doing for this purpose, but I'm sure that there's an
subconsciously, yeah,
underlying cause
there is an
for
underlying
your
cause.
the creation of whatever you're creating.
Yes, but your ego is more so like the stand, and it's like, okay, if you were to, this is how I like to put it. So if you have two sides of yourself, right? Your ego is going to be the mind more so, and then you have your soul. But it's more so the side of the mind that's always, it's more of the fear side of it. Not necessarily, but it's pretty much formed from all that. It's the overthinking and doing things out of not necessarily reason, but things that you think because of other instances. So, you have your soul and what naturally is you. This is what I believe, of course. Okay, you don't have to, if you don't believe in God, you don't believe you have a soul, whatever. But in this case of what I'm saying is you have a soul, correct? You have who you are in essence, who you are naturally, who you were put on this earth to be, and who you are. Just naturally who you're gonna be. And then you have this state of being, which is your ego, that's saying, this is who you are, or this is how things have to do, and this is what things are gonna be. And it's the thing that makes, is the reason why you overthink. Ego is the reason that leads to anxiety. I can't say depression, because depression, that's a clinically, that's a disease. That's something a little bit different.
Okay, so yeah, exactly what I'm. Well, that kind of
But when
doesn't
you're,
really prove my point. But
well, yeah, when
what
you're
I'm,
expressing yourself, it's a little bit different because that's coming from a place of feeling.
not always. It could easily be exactly what you're saying. Because like, okay, so what I'm saying is that like, if you know it, like, okay, so to have an ego is, I mean, so you would need loss of ego to understand who your true self is.
Exactly. Yes.
So
Exactly.
therefore, what I'm saying is, without that loss of ego, there's still creation.
You're right.
So therefore, what I'm
Okay, that's a
also
fair point.
saying is
Fair
that
point.
who I am to you right now could be my ego, probably my ego coming out and playing like on this level of playing field. But that wouldn't be to say that I don't still think what I'm thinking. Like I may create something based off of how I'm feeling, and that could be the ego feeling it, not the.
That does make sense. Yeah.
That's what I was trying.
Some people believe that ego is the destruction of humanity. a sense because
I mean, we
it's
are necessarily the destruction of ourselves, so
yeah,
yeah.
because
We're our
exactly.
own worst enemy, so yeah, that makes
Exactly, is
sense.
because the ego is what causes greed. It's what makes you want more. It makes it's
Causes
because you're not.
lust.
Yeah, it's because it's not what you know. It's not who you are. It's these things you think you need in
Yeah,
order to be yourself.
right,
When you're not realizing you are who you are because of what you do. You know.
right. How
So
you act and
it's kind of crazy. I don't know. That's always something that goes through my head is when you truly set aside that factor of I need these things in order to fill this void that is the ego of always wanting like you need that or you need that or you need that instead of just being and allowing yourself to be free, truly be free by allowing yourself to just do as you please, not trying to gather all this stuff you don't really need because at the end of the day, just think of it this way. If you have absolutely nothing, what matters the most? When you have no money, when you have nothing, what's really going to matter at the basic foundation of everything, you know?
waters. Not
Okay.
really shelter. Food and water.
I mean, on a person to person basis.
You
So,
mean like what matters to me as far as values go?
values life, you know?
Morals?
Morals, exactly. What's really, when you break it down, because you could be, think of it this way there's all these people on earth. You could be alone, right?
Yeah.
Why are we all here? Like, why is everyone here if you were meant to be alone? You need human to human interaction.
I mean, no, yeah,
As
that's
a person, you need human to human interaction. If you don't, you will go psycho.
no, yeah, it's proven. That's scientific
If
fact.
you go into
But
isolation, you will go crazy.
correct, well, not always. I mean,
It'll help you
forced isolation, yes, but you can isolate, not go crazy.
for a little bit of time, but over time,
Right.
if you're just isolated
Oh yeah,
for a
definitely, it's
long,
not healthy. But what I was gonna. Oh yeah, it could just be like a big fuck you from God to say I put all these people.
that's tough. That's a harsh way to think about it.
I'm not saying I think about it that way. It's just a thought. Just a
Just throwing it out there.
letting it flow in the river of thoughts.
Uh, I'm gonna slide past that one. It's possible though to be haha jokes on. I mean, because if think about it, you can create a kid and say, I gave up all 5 of you. I've made 5 kids. I'm gonna separate all of you though.
Be
You
like,
could do
cause
that. It's possible.
it's a controversial take, a hot take.
Hot cakes.
Maybe not that hot
Hot
take.
takes with hot cakes.
Maybe not that hot take, but I'll say it regardless. It's like, why do we think that God's supposed to? Like,
You would hope that the thing that created you would have mercy on your soul.
I think about the way that, yeah, exactly.
Hopefully.
But I think about the way that Rick and Morty created the whole like universe inside of a car battery. So Rick gave a fuck about any of those people.
You're doing your job. Keep it going, or else I'll kill you.
Exactly. So like, what I'm saying is that like, isn't the only narrative that pushes God is a good thing people that believe in God? Is there anybody that doesn't believe in God that thinks God is a good person or only does good? I'm not saying doesn't believe in God, but doesn't believe in those people's God type shit. If I don't believe in your God, you still value my God as a
I don't know.
like for the greater good of humanity.
I'll say this, since we've talked about this before as well, and I believe God is a being or a
Right.
consciousness per se. If you're gonna hit God consciousness, at this point, us creating things is one level, but if you're hitting a consciousness of what we would, I guess, consider God,
Right.
that level of consciousness, I think that's when you're rid of ego at that point, which in my opinion is what causes a lot of our destruction.
But isn't that kind of an assumption?
Yes.
So like,
I don't know that.
kind of my point is to say it's like if we could get to a God conscious, that would still right. Isn't it fun to make practical jokes?
I mean, it would be you, but without the ego. It'd be
Right.
us stripped of all the things that we think are us, and it would be just what we truly are at
Do you
pure,
think they're making
pure essence.
Do you think they're making practical jokes at a God conscious? So, how do we think?
Well, you're thinking it, so some people are
Well,
thinking
I'm
it.
not saying like why
Why
is
is it
that
not?
not a common thought?
That's a hot take, dude.
Maybe not that hot. It's
Let's
like I just
get the
don't
hot
know it.
takes out
I
here.
don't know very many people that at least think about that. I don't know if I believe it. Like I know a lot of good God that created. Water in ears.
That's what I'm saying is greed, man. It's greed. It's,
Wild.
if you once we learn to be free within ourselves, we can allow others to be free as well, and it's not won't be restraints. That's what I believe, anyways.
Quote from Coach Carter's. We liberate ourselves from fear in our hearts, or that we automatically become the type of person that automatically liberates others. I butchered the fuck out of that, but I love that quote.
I think I'm gonna wrap it up there because I actually really like that quote.
Actually, I'm. Go ahead and give out your.
All right, so a challenge for this week then is do something. I always say do something you love. Do something that makes you feel free. Something that, even if it's going outside and running a mile, or if it's dancing, do something that makes you feel free. And don't ask yourself the question, who am I? Allow yourself to be. Try to get rid of that ego. I'm telling you, meditate 5 minutes a day. Start off doing that. I promise you, it'll make a difference. Don't ask, who am I? Allow yourself to be. Don't let your ego get in the way. You don't need things to fill your void. Just allow yourself to be and do things that you love. Be passionate about something. You know, if you're talking about something and you really love talking about, talk about it. Who cares if people care or not? You know, if you are passionate about it, be passionate about it. Find something you're passionate about. That's all I got to say on that note. This is far from finished. Shout out to Chance Maynard. That's at Fatality on Twitter. Shout out Joel Teagues. That's at Teagues TV on Twitter as well. They do a great job helping us with the video and the audio.
Okay.
Great. You know, and if you didn't know, on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Finish From Far. Also, stay tuned. We'll be making a Facebook page. It'll be a community where everyone can get together. You know, post stuff where you can volunteer. You can get together. Kind of a page where people can help each other out. Just a big community that we're trying to build here, because we really think that the more that people help each other out, the better we can improve and better we can get as people. So, at Finish From Far on Instagram, at Finish From Far on Twitter. Anything you want to say, Josh, before we wrap it up here, man?
As we are liberated from our own automatically, our presence automatically. And basically, in that quote, there's our greatest fear is fear of being. Can liberate ourselves. Keep doing that shit. Stop being inadequate. Adequate yourself. No excuses. Do better. Get shit done. We're out here, motherfucker. And me and Chance got a new podcast coming out soon. We're recording tomorrow night for that shit. Y'all are beautiful, and stay tuned. We got a lot of shit coming out. And also Chance and our friend Joel, who run the studio here, are gonna be recording their own podcast as well, and we're gonna have a lot of marketing going out for both of those podcasts as well as this one. So you guys stay tuned. We got a lot of shit coming, and we're gonna work on some skits and some videos for you guys to laugh and be silly with. So on that note, I'm gonna issue a challenge that all of you stop giving a fuck about what people feel about you and just do whatever the fuck you want. Not that hard. It takes a little time to get used to, but very easy. Good luck.
That's all, folks. Cha-cha.
Cha-cha!